The issue of tolerance, the issue of non-discrimination has been increasingly on the mind and on the agenda of the OSCE participating states during the last 5 years. And this was a reflection of the state of the domestic debate in many of the countries. It was also a reflection of the state of the international debate of the Mediterranean partners of OSCE, of countries they relate to regularly. So since OSCE is about creating peace and security through the respect of all the dimensions which contribute to this, including chiefly the human dimension, everything that focuses on tolerance and non-discrimination, I think, is now increasingly important. And of course, the issue of the Muslim world is very much in the discussions both of OSCE and of the society around it. Security doesn't have to be hard politics. Living together, cohabitating, is an issue of security in the broad sense. And there is such a thing as broad security, not soft security. And therefore, everything that contributes to this, in the actions of the state, which provide a legal framework, which provide policies to facilitate things, and in the mind of people, in the societies themselves, in their attitude, in the action of the key forces within society, civil society, the media, the NGOs, the political parties, enterprise, public or private. All these are very much components of what it takes to create a balanced and stable social framework which avoids this sort of tension. Among the recent immigrants and among the all populations of Europe, there is a very significant Muslim component. This Muslim component has been very much at ease in many of the participating states of OSCE, but in others, the recent arrivals have had problems in beginning to be part of the broader social framework. The vast majority of the individuals which worship in the Muslim religion actually are doing quite well and are part of the OSCE societies while keeping their identity and their specific beliefs. There are individuals who, because they are not doing as well, because they are disaffected, because they are subjected to influences, take much more radical views. And it so happens that some of these radical views recently have coincided with more extreme currents within the Muslim religions. That has created a sort of psychological attitude and fear in many members of society. It need not be so. We had terrorists which were extreme left, which had nothing to do with any religion, not a long time ago. And there is no inherent reason why the Muslim religion, which is a very spiritual and tolerant religion, should be perceived in any other ways than any other religion. They are the future. Women, because they are at the heart of the family cell and provide the core in the family life, the education, therefore the values, the approach towards the host culture, the host society, and the youth, because they are the ones who are in the process of learning, of interacting with between their background and the societies they live in, and who will be the ones basically creating the new elements of society. So what we are doing is really creating the conditions for peace and the conditions for stable societies and open societies in the future. Well, what our organization does is bring together states so that they can debate, determine together what would be the most appropriate policies, the best practices, and then implement them as states. We heard Minister Plasnik, we've just heard the Minister of Immigration and Integration of Denmark. There is a lot states can do. It is demanding, it is sometimes expensive, but it means providing the best possible education for the young immigrants and for their families and for their background, mentoring in them, helping them in order to get in the labor market. So each state, each society has to find its own approaches, its own balances, but they can certainly share experiences and they can certainly encourage each other to do so. A lot is being shared within the European Union, a lot is being shared within OSCE and the Council of Europe for that matter. So there is an awareness, a desire to address those issues, and I hope there will be also success. The advantage of the American society is clearly that it is an extremely dynamic and open society where anybody who wants to have education, who wants to move forward, can move very quickly and make himself a good living, and then choose his own culture. The Americans are very tolerant about their cultural background altogether. So in this sense, I believe the U.S. has some challenges and example to share with European countries. One has to bear in mind that the Europeans also, in terms of the commitment of the state, in terms of the solidarity within society, have a few of their own characteristics which could also inspire the Americans. There will be inevitably a sort of broader international dimension. You are aware of the report of the high-level group on the Alliance of Civilization, which has been produced in the UN, which provides a sort of common framework for a single civilization, a global compendium of shared values and attitudes. There are elements which have been addressed today of the impact of the geostrategic consequences of various events happening in the Middle East and elsewhere, where many Muslim populations feel they are being put under pressure by the West in general. And then there is, of course, the debate within the societies in the so-called West, in the more advanced countries. But that includes, of course, Russia, for instance. That includes Turkey, by all means. All these societies have to find the proper balance between the common set of core values and the respect for the specific approaches and sensitivities of given groups which want to keep their identity. This is not going to be an easy time in all probability, but I think it's a challenging time, and it's a time which is a mobilizing period for all those who are in public office. They have to address those problems. That takes us into a new area of concerns, which is very much relevant to our values. So in this sense, we are faithful to the initial inspiration of the Helsinki founding fathers. We are trying to create security by having open, stable societies under the rule of law, respecting human rights and promoting democracy. But this is not only about those societies who are in transition, this is about all societies, whether they're east or they're west of Vienna.